DMX. So I remember when we flew out to New York, and there was to film that video with Fat Joe, Crush Tonight. Kato comes on the video, man. Stuff was moving pretty fast for me in Chicago, man, but I started getting into a lot of trouble because I started having that mentality that since I had money, I was untouchable. Me and Kato actually did pretty good around the black gangs, man. We carried ourselves very well. Like, he used to make fun of me because I would be like on State Street where all the projects were at, and he would be over there on Roosevelt where he got killed, you know what I mean? We did well, like we knew how to treat people. And back then, a lot of Latino drug dealers would not mess with blacks because blacks are known for being stick-up boys. It's just what it is, you know, and they wouldn't mess with them. They would always have to be like a middleman to bring it in, you know. So
who would be the middleman?
So
Latino, black, or someone like you?
Yeah, somebody that would actually be able to fit in and get along in both worlds.
So is that probably how Kato, was that one of the reasons
Kato
was successful?
Kato, they loved him.
So he could move in both worlds.
Yeah.
And that was rare.
Yeah.
And you too.
Yes. So, you know, I think it takes a lot of charisma, man. A lot of my friends, you know, and associates used to tell me that I should have been a politician. You know, people take a liking to us, and we know how to treat people, so that's why we grow strong bonds with people. So, you know, I think that's what's helped me now and where I'm at, because I have some of the richest Jewish people here in Phoenix and they know my story, cops that I train. You know, it's crazy. Like, even politicians that are like friends.
And what?
The lifestyle was extreme, man. Like, I mean, everybody wanted to be him or wanted to be around him. You know, I'll never forget the big New Year's Eve bash that we had at the studio. You know, DMX was there. Like, his wedding was one of the biggest weddings in Chicago. You know, DMX was there, gave a speech.
DMX gave a speech at his wedding.
Yeah, so like, you know, it was like everybody wanted to be him, and everybody looked up to him. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those success stories that you admire. You know what I mean? From the slums to you know, being the big guy in the thing. And so the same disciples were getting really jealous that I was hanging out with him a lot. I wasn't giving them no work because they never did shit for me, so I wasn't doing shit for them. So I ended up going to a nightclub that they owned in downtown.
Wait a second, a nightclub in downtown Chicago is millions of dollars.
Yeah. So I went down there to celebrate my wedding with my wife at the time. Well, when I VIP'd my truck, somebody put a gun in my truck.
It's a setup.
Yeah. I went into the club, had a good night. They were buying me bottles all night. I was even kind of like,
they were being too friendly.
Something's off, you know. And we got out, we went out, and the cops were already waiting for me by my car. And they told me, put your hands behind your back. I put my hands behind my back. I was like, what's going on? You're under arrest. I was like, for what? You know, gun in your car, blah, blah, in your truck. I was like, I don't have a gun. What are you talking about? They pull out the gun. I get arrested. My wife was at the time, was like, don't worry, because she had political ties. One of her nieces was married to an alderman from the area. I don't want to say his name, but she had ties. So she's like, don't worry, we'll get you out. With my background, me getting caught with another gun, that would have been gun number 6 in my background. Not good. And the people that did it to me knew what they were doing.
They were trying to get you off the streets for a long time.
They wanted me out of the game. So, I go to the county jail. I was sick to my stomach for being set up by my own people. Sick to the stomach. My wife ended up hiring the top lawyer in Chicago, Juan De Leon. He represents all the big dogs in Chicago. I remember they had me in a unit with all the same disciples, and I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go to the Christian deck. I'm done. I'm done fucking with these fuckers. I'm done. The white shirts came and got me.
Who are the white shirts?
The captains, sergeants. And they came up to my cell and they said, you must have friends in very high places. We're moving you to the Christian deck. My lawyer made it happen.
Ah.
And they moved me. I started going to court. They were trying to offer me a plea deal for
Did you feel your safety was in jeopardy in the disciples unit?
No, it's just I was
like
done. I was sick to my stomach for what they did to me. It was the ultimate betrayal. And when they moved me to the Christian deck, you know, I got the plea deal they were trying to give me. They were trying to give me 18 years. Yeah.
For possession of a gun?
Yeah. And my lawyer told me, don't worry about it. I got this case, blah, blah, blah. Anonymous phone call, too many iffies. And yeah, he beat the case in 3 months.
Wow.
3 months. He actually got me out on bail, still being on federal probation. That's like really hard to do.
Yeah.
So got me out, beat the case, paid him. Now I really think that I'm untouchable.
You're a Teflon Don.
So, you know, I start getting into more shit, and eventually Kato stepped in and he was like, why don't you move to Arizona? Look out for Earl, you know, be...
Oh, so him and DMX were so close that he suggested you come out here and help
Yes.
DMX, because DMX needed to be looked after.
Yes.
Was DMX pretty out of control?
Oh, yeah. When has he been out of control? So I moved down here, became part of the Phoenix Rough Riders motorcycle crew. Started hanging out a lot with D at his house. I started getting into trouble again slowly, man. I caught a DUI, went to prison. You know, it started spiraling. I was doing good for a minute, working, staying out of trouble, staying out the dope game, and I get the call. Valerie was the first one to call me, and it was a night. I don't remember what day, but it was at night. And she's like, yo, they just killed K. And I was like, nah, like, what are you talking about? You know, K walks around with 20 guys. What are you talking about? And she's like, they just killed them. And I hung up the phone, and like 10 minutes later, at the time I was seeing a Chicago cop. I was dating her, and she calls me, and she's like, yo, they just killed your boy. And that's when it sunk in. I was like, all right, this is for real. So I called Valerie. I was like, yo, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to fly in? What do you want me to do? And she's like, yeah, fly in. So I fly back into Chicago. Valerie's a mess. You know, all the close boys that he had were at the house with Valerie. And we went to the funeral, man, and we picked up Fat Joe's wife. Fat Joe's wife was at the funeral. Picked her up from the airport, and I mean DMX was there. There was a lot of celebrities there that day.
And this was totally unexpected. I mean, Kato wasn't. You didn't know. Sometimes in that world, there people can be at war and etc. And you kind of know you're in danger. But this came out of the blue.
Yeah.
Yes. What did you hear about the cause of it? Because I'm sure as his friend, you were trying to find out what happened.
Oh, I mean, it was everything under the sun, man. I mean, from a setup, from an inside setup, from the guys to something gone wrong to...
So no one really could pinpoint it at the time?
No, and, you know...
And then when you're moving at that level, you're involved in so many things and so many shady characters.
You don't know where it's coming from.